Hi and welcome back to a new video. In this video I'll be demonstrating how to paint realistic grass. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so to begin with, let's take in a fan brush, and with that fan brush I'll take in some green and lime yellow and sort of some black, and let's mix those colors together, and let's sort of come here on a canvas. This is a pre-stretched canvas, and let's apply the color. This is the blocking in part. Usually in landscape paintings I take a mid-tone color, but here let's go with a slightly brighter tone because we want those rich contrast. Now I'll give you the foundation of grass painting, especially for foreground grass. So I've dipped my brush, that is a liner brush, in water. I'm using acrylics, so I'm dipping my brush in water, significant amount of water, and I'm sort of going into that same block in color, and don't go too bright nor too dark with the exterior part of the grass as I'm doing here. For watercolors and acrylics, you can add in some water, or for acrylics, you can add in the specific medium. But for oil paints, you can add in some linseed oil. Now, I'll tell you what will happen if you don't use water or the medium with your paint. Your paint will not flow like ink, and it's as good as getting the texture of a canvas or watercolor paper or the surface on which you're painting. So in order to get that flow, you have to add this medium, and that's the trick of this painting technique. In case you want your blades of grass to look thicker, you could definitely use a rigger brush. So as you're seeing here in this painting, the blades of grass are thin, very thin, so that they look very crisp. Okay. Now let me make one thing clear. The rigger brush is not an alternative to the script liner brush in this case. You can use a rigger brush if you want slightly thicker grass, not too much, slightly, maybe a stroke more, then you can use a rigger brush. That's not an alternative to this brush, that is the script liner brush. Of course, both of them have the same technique. Just add in some medium or water, mix it with the paint which you're using, it'll flow like ink. Add significant amount of water or medium depending on whether it's oils or acrylics or watercolors. So by doing that, your paint will flow like ink, and when the paint will flow like ink, it becomes easier for you to get that chiseled edge at the tip of the grass. Another interesting part of this technique is you have to create some circular motion. So what do I mean by circular motion? It's not a complete circle, but it's a semicircle, and you don't have to have a controlled stroke of each and every blade of grass. Some come automatically, and which works for you in your landscape paintings to make it look more realistic. It'll add more depth. It'll make your painting pop. And another interesting part of this technique is you have to move your brush in circular manner in thin air. Okay, what do you mean by that? You got to pretend you're making circles in thin air with the paint that is flowing like ink on your script liner brush. So what do I mean by that? You have to make circles, but you have to ensure it is a stroke of a semicircle on your surface. Okay, so do it in thin air. Don't directly go onto the canvas as soon as you take the paint. That is the inconsistency paint. Don't do that. You'll get a very thick stroke, even if it's a liner brush, and even if the paint flows like ink. It's as if you're painting in thin air, but accidentally sometimes you touch the surface. Then you get a very crisp, a very accurate stroke of grass, and that'll look more realistic and that'll look beautiful in your landscape paintings. So you have to pretend as if you're painting in thin air. That's it. That is what's going to create that beautiful blade of grass. And approximately you have to make 5 to 6 strokes for one blade of grass. Sometimes it's even less or even more, but if you do that, it'll take some time. Definitely it's going to take some time, but it look very beautiful, very convincing, and your painting will pop and your painting will look beautiful. And this is for foreground grass, so you can apply that here. For the background grass, you can use a fan brush. Okay, all right, here we go.